Hello, and welcome back to another White Album 2 Blu-ray bonus content reading. So, this is Volume 4 of the Blu-ray series, and as you can see, it's a pretty important point in the introductory chapter of the game. So, the DVD itself has beautiful art on it, as always. They really do a nice job making these Blu-rays nice, as they should, because the Blu-rays contain 2 episodes each, and they're very expensive. The bonus content is very nice, so I guess that's the plus side of it. But really, really nice, really different, almost different styled, I think, than in the game. It definitely, they did a nice job translating the outfits into an easily animated style here. So this is Volume 4. Then we get the same image on the outer cover of the Blu-ray. A little bit more detail here because it's not limited to the size of the DVD itself. And they're happy and they're holding each other. Well, at least Setsuna's holding Kazusa. Kazusa's busy with her guitar. Now, the backhand side of the bonus postcard here is this kind of almost like a faded blue-white image. Winter is coming on. That bittersweet, eternal moment. White Album 2. Illustration by Rondo, Mizukami. So, this image is it's so silly. I mean, it's good, but it's so silly. So the reason this image is a thing, you're like, why does Setsuna have a hair tie in her mouth? Which it is a hair tie, by the way. Is because in Japan, if you have long hair, you have to tie it up in the onsen, in the hot springs. You cannot have your hair touching the water. That is considered like a kind of a taboo. It's very rude. People don't want your hair floating in the water. It's nasty. So don't let your hair touch the water. Setsuna's getting ready to tie up Kazusa's hair. Obviously, it's meant to look like something else. Like, you know it. I know it. It's the silliest. You know, I like fan service, obviously. But this is almost, like, too much. You know what I mean? Like, there's a point where it just becomes silly or cheesy. That's kind of how I feel about this. They are, however, very pretty. I like their lingerie. I like the color-codedness of it. So, there's my 2 cents about this beautiful bonus postcard. White Album 2. Winter is coming on. That bittersweet, eternal moment. So, this contains episodes 7 and 8. Starting on the right-hand side, number 7, The Last Greatest Day. The day of the festival concert has arrived, and with it, the day that the trio finally give their big performance. Yay! They finally made it. My God. Such an exciting time. I still remember playing through for the very first time and it got to the concert. I was like, oh my God, here it is. It is a good moment. As if to cancel out all the turmoil and ordeals that had swirled around them up until the previous day, they sing, play, and dance on stage, enjoy themselves body and soul, and have what is undeniably the best time of their lives thus far. That fact, however, that very fact of their having had so much fun, serves to exacerbate the feelings of emptiness following the festival, as well as a sense of uncertainty concerning their future together. And so, that night, Haruki has a single, momentous, hasty decision thrust upon him. Which we all know what that is. That's his decision of whether or not to say yes to Setsuna. It is a lot, especially when you do something that's so exciting and so big and you work so hard for, and then it's over and you're like, what do I do now? I get that same feeling from finishing an anime or finishing a game, especially a long one. Once it's over, you just kind of sit there, you're like, well, what do I do now? You know? And then episode 8, Winter finally begins. On the heels of their successful school festival show, Haruki and Setsuna have begun dating openly. Well, if you had any questions on what they were referring to in episode 7, now you know. It is their wish, however, to continue on as a trio with Kazusa, as they have been. Kazusa responds in kind by acknowledging Setsuna as her best friend. And, to all appearances, little changes. To all appearances, because as we know, a lot changed. Before they know it, their second term has ended, and winter break begins. Setsuna and Kazusa's over-enthusiasm leads the three of them to a hot spring inn for Christmas, where they goof off and enjoy themselves fully for the first time since the show, and for the last time. Oh, that's so sad. It's a really good episode. For many reasons, there's so many emotions, and it's a really, really good episode. Also, just want to point out the one panel on the left-hand side with the three of them in the hot spring is so pretty. Obviously, it was nice in the game too, but the anime here, I really, really like the art of this. I like the way they show everybody. I like the hair being up. I like being able to see that. So gorgeous. For our character profile of this DVD, we have Takeya Izuka, the host. He looks so much like a host. So on the right-hand side, Takeya Izuka, VA Takuma Terashima, who is a really funny and kind person. You can listen to him talk in the White Album 2 fan club radio. Some episodes he shows up as a guest star. Hojo High School Class 3G, Haruki's best friend and the leader of the light music club. Better at playing the guitar than Haruki. It's not a very high bar to set either. Coupled with his easy-breezy looks and behavior that matches his image, he is rumored to have a girlfriend in every class. Whether or not this is true is uncertain. Yeah, not every class. Maybe like 5 out of 6 classes. We get a little bit of character commentary by Fumiaki Maruto, who is the writer of White Album 2. So pretty cool thing to get a little bit of character analysis from him. Takeya Izuka, the one who will, among other things, come to be Haruki's true best friend, a few years down the line. Granted, even at this stage, he makes full demonstrations of best friendness that have him fully loaded with opportunities for people to go, "Why the hell do you like Haruki that much?" Thank you, because I do. I'm like, why are you still friends with him? He's so rude to you. But I wonder whether all of you are aware that Haruki is in fact the second best friend Takeya has made in his life. Shocker. Though, regarding Takeya's relationship with the first best friend he made in his life, ever since their 3rd year of middle school, when he actually made something like a serious confession inside the closet of the girls' room on a school trip and was completely laughed off, things have been a little complicated. Oof. I love the background information. And yes, one could, with righteous indignation, ask, why did she have to be that harsh? But all of the other girls who saw him dying of indignation there in the room went up to him during the free activity period the next day and asked whether he might be okay with dating them instead. And he got plenty more like that, so there's no need to feel that sorry for him. Poor Takeya. I mean, I don't think you need to give a reason for turning anybody down. It's not nice to turn down people harshly, obviously, like Haruki did with Yara later on. But if it happens, just gotta move on. That's part of life. Still, as a result of that incident, we have this frivolous boy who is extremely sensitive to the movements of others' feelings. except for one specific person about whose feelings he has no certainty or confidence at all. Maybe? Could one look at it that way? Who knows, Maruto-san? You're the one telling us. Or not telling us, I guess. Taki is a really cool character. He's complex when he has to be, and he's simple when it's fitting as well. Now we get the Fumiaki Maruto text commentary in open air bath. Listen, if you ever come to Japan, go to an open air bath or an outdoor bath, as they sometimes say. One of the best feelings in the entire world. Absolutely hands down, especially if you can go during the winter where it's freezing cold outside and then you dip into the hot water. So good. So, episode 7, The Last Greatest Day. The concert episode, eagerly awaited by Haruki and the girls, and perhaps awaited with some trepidation by the audience. Talking in terms of a roller coaster, this is the peak immediately before a sharp nosedive. The calm before the storm. According to what a few people have told me, the screenplay for this episode seems to have ignored a large part of anime theory. What with a concert scene taking up the entirety of the pre-credits through to the A part, and the full chorus of Sound of Destiny being played, for example. But, controversial statement alert. As I have been doing this 100% according to my tastes, I must stand by it. Trust me, Maruto-san, we can definitely tell what your tastes are. Therefore, I find myself thinking upon the hard toils of the entire anime staff, beginning with the director, to whom I left all of the decision-making with nothing but a make it work somehow. If you want something done, you gotta tell them how you want it done. Thank you for all your work. Then the B part. In a sudden change from the lively, sparkling first half, we have something quiet, but with a turbulent drama beginning to roil beneath. To keep on with the roller coaster metaphor, this is the moment when your sense of gravity suddenly disappears. That being the case, as someone on the cast said of Setsuna's actions, "Who the hell raised my daughter to be so greedy?" Oh, Setsuna's dad. When I initially wrote it, it didn't seem that aggressive. But when I watched the video, oof. The part where she wrapped her fingers around he couldn't get away. The part where she buried her face in his chest and then looked up at him from beneath her eyelashes. It's gone beyond trivial questions like, was she wearing them or not? Oy vey. After all, in our hearts, she definitely wasn't. Okay. Oh, God. What? Maruto-san is so funny. He's like, yeah, just to let you know, I put my tastes into this. And then he goes on to just talk about his own fantasies. Like, okay. Like, we didn't ask, but okay. After this, if I were Haruki, I think just about anything could happen. Actually, it would be weirder if something didn't happen. So, why did things end up like this? I ask, I'm reading the script for the final episode. That's funny. It's kind of a spoiler, too. And now, episode 8, moving on. Because that's a big moment, right? Setsuna asking out Haruki, and obviously we know he says yes. Winter finally begins. And now, with the 8th episode, we begin the second half. An episode to be commemorated, or cursed, for the split of 3 into 2 and 1. And the Hot Springs episode that is required to happen once in every anime series. The fan service. If there's no beach episode, there's a Hot Springs episode. Additionally, there is Setsuna and Kazusa's extremely contrived vow of best friendship. Kazusa has become quite, clearly, bizarrely, calm. Setsuna is dangerously, brighter than ever. Haruki is earnestly, the deception can only go so far, glad that the three of them are so close to each other now. Everything is just fine on the surface. What we have is an episode that takes the month in which these myriad complicated feelings are in motion and flies through at a tremendous speed in mere minutes. But it's all so that we can have the two girls interacting with their yukatas open and tossing off their bath towels to leap into an open-air bath. I'm certain all of the viewers will understand how essential this is. It's such a pervert. Like, literally, if I had to sum it up in one word, he is such a pervert. By the way, the provisional title for the first draft of episode 8 was White Love. Part 3 of the Throwing It In as a One-Off Reference series following Akujo and Miyazaki Sensei. With this, Fumiaki Maruto's schemes were fully exhausted. Of course, now that we had reached a third time, King Records producer Mori had become highly accustomed to responding to it. All right, who do we want this time? Speed? Okay, we'll get in touch with so-and-so and so-and-so. Very dependable. Love the Hot Springs episode, though. It really is so nice. Then we get to the back page with the blue and the snowflakes. And that is all. Project WA2. So, thank you ever so much for joining me on reading through this bonus content from the Blu-ray Volume 4. And I will be back to show you Volume 5 shortly. So until then, hope you take care. See you!